Alright, a little bit of a different kind of video for me. I just kind of wanted to get it out there and just talk about it, especially since I'm up and coming, but you probably read the title of here. This is my take on what I think it means to be a captain of a Splatoon team, but also, just a captain in general. Captains can be, really just of any team in any video games, even in sports and stuff. So this is just my take on it and how I'm doing as an upcoming captain and new captain of the Splatoon team. So, how I got into, we gotta start at the beginning. How I got into Splatoon captaining and like making my team, I'm still on my first team, is it was kind of spontaneous. I just saw random guys saying, "Hey, I kind of want to make a Splatoon team." Like, sure, man, like retweet and all that. And then he's like, hey, you think what I'm thinking? I'm like, you know what? Sure. So then we got some people, and it kind of worked out, and then some things kind of didn't. And during that whole time and process, it was really hard for them because I I guess what happened. I don't know if I should name him or not, but what happened with the guy that I made a team with is that um, he made a comp Splatoon team and then realized that, well, actually he was kind of falling out of Splatoon, starting to rarely play it and all, but he kind of wanted to keep going because he didn't want to disappoint us. So um, he struggled with that mentally and internally, so I had to help with that, and um, it really did open my eyes a bit about how being a captain, you really have to manage your relationships. Even when I was doing my trials for new people for replacements, it was you kind of have to you just have to try and make the best decision you can with from how you know you're standing with the other person is, because as a captain you are the face of the team. Now what I mean by that is that most people know more. I think more people know the captains than the actual other players in there, because tournament organizers and the servers will change your name. They'll find you in the server and then change your name to your team name to highlight that you are indeed the captain. And also, uh, like take I don't know Prochar and Arashi from Last Resort. People know Arashi, they know he's the Last Resort, but I think a lot more people uh, think like Last Resort, and it's like Prochar. Prochar is the captain. He is the head. He is the guy who makes the shots. I think there's a lot more like that ideas on like they are the leader. They are the one that brings the team to greatness, and it's kind of true, kind of not. It's gives direction, but the greatness comes from the entire team. So yeah, that's what I think from what I've seen already. So, and as a captain, I do feel that there is more responsibility than people talk about. It is more than just organizing scrims and um, put a, just signing up for tournaments. You have to make sure times work out for everyone. You gotta make sure there's no problems. Try to work it out. Keep up on your team. Like people don't realize this, but actually frequently check up on your teammates. That's what I do because I want to make sure that uh, they're not having like problems show up in the family, because I really do value communication in my team. I think value communication, especially in video game uh, teams, is very, very important because it's just there's more collaboration, idea sharing. Like, hey man, next time here, do this, and like it'll help. And I think that yeah, it is very very important just to communicate a lot in general and make sure that your your people are committed to what your goals are. And you also have to highlight your own goals as a captain. I think that your goals as a captain are basically the structure of what how things should be handled in your team, but also going forward, and the kind of goal that your teammates are going to be based around. There's some talk about this where your goals have to line up at least a good amount in teams, and I don't have a lot of experience with it because most of the people I've played with have just been, hey, we just want to have fun. I haven't really found a lot of people that are a lot more serious about it, mainly because I just haven't hit a certain level and I'm not really changing the roster around a lot. So yeah, but from what I've seen and heard is that goals have to line up or else the team will eventually disband or members will be released. Because there's just going to be conflicts like, hey, they're dragging me down, or the teammates realize that they are higher up, that they're because their goals are different than the rest of the team's goals, that they cannot stay with them. It just becomes harder to maintain that relationship. And as a captain, and frequently checking up on them, you kind of have to be aware if the goals start changing or misaligning, and just keep an eye on that because it's important. Different goals and different mentalities of how what they want to do with being in a comp team that will affect how long the team lasts. And as a captain, I haven't had a team breakup yet, but I'm pretty sure it's hard. I DM'd my coach one day, and we were having a hard time. And I DM'd my coach and asked him, "When does a team break up?" And he responded, "When all the players are ready to move on." And I realized that my teammates weren't ready to move on yet, so we stuck together. So yeah, it's really just trying to keep everyone together and just make sure everything's okay for the most part there. And it also, and I guess going back to the whole face thing, like you're the face of your team. You also, I think that the captain of the team should also be head of recruitment. Like your teammates can contribute and find people, do their own things with other potential members, and form their own opinions and share those opinions with you and what you do think. But I do think the captain should be the head of all that. Like no one's getting in without the captain's approval, because tying back into the relationship watching thing, um, just keeping an eye on everyone and all that. When you let someone in, you also have to make sure that they will slide in easily, and that um, they'll fit. Because if they don't fit, like their goals aren't the same or similar, and or they're just a little bit rambunctious and anger tempered, then like relationships are gonna fall apart. It's just not gonna work out. It does come down to the captain's judgment, and that does need to be developed. I do think is an essential skill in life because that is something employers do. So I do think it is important and an important skill that should be developed. And in a comp team, um, it isn't that big of a deal if you mess up, but I do think it's an important skill to learn and develop. That way you can make those kind of decisions a lot easier. And of course you can not make those decisions a lot easier, make those decisions a lot better. So yeah, well, that's my thing on the recruiting. What else? Another thing is that uh, I think I think being a leader is just hard. Just people don't talk about it enough. They're always like, "Oh, I want to be a leader," or "I want to like be ahead of this." But I do think being a leader is hard, or just being a captain is hard. And on top of being a captain, I do think that when you are a captain, you have to want to be a captain and also be the best qualified for the captain position. Because being a captain means you have, I think the word is integrity. and that uh, you're able to adapt, you're able to adjust to each of our individual's needs. If a situation comes up, you're able to handle it. You need to be on point, but also you need to be controlled because making decisions in emotional anger or distress or something that will cause that is very easy to make mistakes in that kind of mindset. It's not that great of a mindset to be. So I think being best qualified is the best who can control those kind of impulses and are also willing to learn how to captain, how to properly manage the team. Because also managing teams, I do think varies according to the people involved. Because individuals are very having individuals and there's just a lot of things to handle. So and just handle everyone's individual needs. So there's that. Where was it going with this? Relationships. Emotional control. Yeah, emotional control. But also, you have to want to be captain. Just someone with great emotional control and doesn't want to be captain, they shouldn't really be pushed into being a captain because if they don't want to be a captain and actually just don't want to do it, then they don't want to do it. And if they do get forced into it anyway, they're probably not going to do that great of a job. And I doubt they'll last long, even if they are very good captains. Even if they would make very good captains if they don't want to do it. I think it's just that. And the same thing in opposite. If there's someone who wants to be captain that isn't qualified to be captain, there should be a a highlighting of why they shouldn't be captain, and just not too big of a setback, but him, you should work on this a little bit first before you become captain. And now you might be wondering who sets that filter to say who's captain or not. I think it's everyone. I do think there should be a general consensus of who should be captain. If there's any disputes over who should be captain, there should be a majority vote and all that. So I do think that if there is someone who is captain, the team, or at least preferably the whole team, should agree who the captain should be, because that means that they are willing to take essentially orders from them and follow through and be led by them. And I think that just helps just maintain their relationship and just have it last longer. Just have the team last longer and just work together a lot better. So yeah. What else? Mainly the captain. I guess I should highlight is just be there. Sometimes it's just I as someone who's studying a bit of psychology and also being on the internet to test like theories I have and just see what happens being on the internet, I've noticed that a lot of times just being there is enough to it's just being there and being reliable, just being a reliable person is very good for maintaining relationships and all that, because they also develop a trust and reliability. Like they know they can rely on you. That's what I mean. And yeah, I think that's something that should be done more. Some people just aren't there enough. There just isn't enough of a presence, like parents to kids and all that, and that just leads to problems later down the line. And even in captaining, I really do think that being there is very important to talk or to just discuss things. It's just, no matter how small it is, unless you really need to do something and have to go, just finding the time to be there is just enough. And also, being captain, by being there, you also have to take everyone into account, like every individual, make sure everyone's like you have enough of a roster to make it to a tournament, make sure their times match up, etc., etc. Just make sure it's just like if you have your team, make sure you make it to there. the tournament, which is also kind of ties into reliability and being the face of your team. That is not to say that all responsibility, I think, should be on the captain himself. Teammates are also, while not getting as much recognition as the captain, are still technically faces of the team. The people, if they get famous enough, people know that, let's say, Volty is of Alliance Rogue, Arashi is of Last Resort, etc. So that's just the first ones that popped into my mind. But even like my teammates, like Vague is on my team Accelerate, and so is Commando, even though he's a Tetris commentator for I don't know why. He commentates Tetris because like, yeah, I'm a competitive Splatoon team. So yeah, he is still they are still technically faces, and they should still have responsibility as teammates too. They should be trying to take some responsibility and responsibility in their actions, trying to change, get better, make sure their goals okay, but also speak up and communicate instead of staying quiet and just not communicating. Because when a teammate just not communicating, that's in my opinion, that is a yellow flag and should be like just quick checking, like, hey, everything okay? Because if they're upset over a loss or at a teammate, then they're like they don't want to talk about it, then that ties into the communication. Like, hey, we should talk about this. We need to get this figured out because if you can't, I don't want this to all burn down. So yeah, I think that's something a lot of teams struggle with. I think a lot of Splatoon teams, most of them only last like a few months. Um, my team has lasted for I think a year. Yeah, I think a year or so now. And we main thing is we just haven't done too much, but I do want to start getting stuff done this January to February. So keep an eye out for that. Yay! Like, comment, subscribe for VODs and stuff like that. And but I really do think that um, being captain's tough. There's a lot of responsibilities involved, and not enough people talk about it. But also, there should be the teammates should take responsibility to and accept that they are on the team. And I think that's the main thing. They are on the team. They're with their squad mates, and they're in this together. So yeah, I think I'm petering out right now. Um, yeah, I think that's all I really have to say this one. So I don't know, it's kind of a rant. I just wanted to get my thoughts out. Um, oh wait, one last thing. Excuse the background noise. I think you can hear. Not sure, but one last thing. Uh, I think a captain, when having their team, should try to take the people that they have and try to make a squad. That is very difficult because there's a lot of trust that needs to be made between people's members. A lot of communication needs to happen. A lot of just friendships. They are technically your friends, but they are still your squad mates in the team. They're your teammates, squad mates. That's why I say it. You could even say like brotherhood or sisterhood, stuff like that. But you're essentially trying to build positive, healthy relationships between your team members and just um yeah, just build healthy relationships because things are more positive, your teammates work better together, um just everything's healthier, there's non-arguing, it doesn't get as tiring, and it's just probably like to hang out in there. And eventually, like, even at my level with my teammates, we have struggled taking team fights because we're used to solo queue and all that. But um, I think we're gonna start getting to a point where we're actually gonna start taking team fights. We're gonna start winning our fights and matches, and yeah, that's what I've been trying to aim for, is trying to make a squad, a squad, an efficient machine that will go around and work work with itself to, yeah, that's, that's what I'm doing. So, that's really all to say for this rant. Thank you for making it this far. I hope this helped you in some way. Maybe you just enjoyed listening to me rant for a while. Um, yeah, not much else to say. I don't know, I was inspired by Kale. I had a video sent to me, but it's just Kale, so I got inspired to make this, so I don't even know them. So, yeah, woo, go slip to them, I guess. And, yeah, link in the description, by the way. Like, comment, subscribe, let me hear your thoughts. I love to hear your thoughts. And fellow captains, please give me advice. I'm like Div 11. So, I'm gonna stop ranting now. Goodbye. Have a nice day.